the patchwork quilt of security. Before we start, I wanted to take a moment to welcome each of you to a new community messaging platform called the OPSEC Minute Extended. If interest dictates, on Mondays we intend to continue using this space text and posted videos to share both a little OPSEC or Operations Security wisdom, along with an occasional Marvel team-up bridge that ties into other regulatory security disciplines and policies that our leadership and the Department of Army embrace. All right, my moment is up. Enjoy the new graphic announcement, and let's dive into today's secure narrative. Jesse Ramirez was the new kid on the block at USAG Stuttgart, Germany, a community outreach coordinator brimming with enough enthusiasm to power the entire garrison. He genuinely loved connecting with the local Bugl. That's German for population. And Jesse was determined to learn all the lingo and showcasing the positive impact of the American military presence. He was a social media natural, a firm believer in building bridges, and possessed the kind of optimism that could make a rainy German day feel, well, almost sunny. He just hadn't quite grasped that building bridges in a sensitive overseas location sometimes meant being very careful about what you showed people. He often bounced ideas off Mr. James Brooks, or JB as everyone called him, the garrison's operations security OPSEC officer, a seasoned pro who always had a calming word and a practical suggestion. JB had repeatedly stressed the power of social media, but Jesse, in his eagerness, hadn't fully absorbed the message. He was also quietly, hopelessly smitten with Dr. Anya Volkov, the garrison's lead environmental scientist. Anya was brilliant, fiercely independent, and had a dry wit that Jesse found incredibly charming. He was determined to make a good impression, and he suspected a little social media savvy might help. USAG Stuttgart was about to host the Assistant Secretary of the Army, ASA, a visit that required planning precision usually reserved for launching a satellite. The garrison's command security manager, Alonzo, a man who could make a shadow look intense, had been running OPSEC drills for weeks. Alonzo wasn't a bellicose shouter. He patiently observed everything. One of those respected guys who could convey disapproval with a single, perfectly calibrated eyebrow raise. Jesse attended the briefings, nodded earnestly, and thought he understood. But honestly, it felt abstract, like trying to explain the offside rule in soccer to someone who'd only ever played baseball. Jesse was tasked with coordinating a meet and greet at the Stuttgart Community Center, a regular event, but now with security cranked up to 11. He wanted to generate some buzz, so he fired up Facebook, creating an event page. Photos started appearing, the stage taking shape, the American and German flags looking particularly dignified, side by side, and then the money shot. A sweeping wide angle of the community center's exterior, showcasing in glorious detail the enhanced security, the increased military police presence, looking sharp, the strategically placed concrete barriers, and the shiny new surveillance cameras glinting in the sun. He captioned it. Getting ready to roll out the red carpet for a very special visitor. #USAG Stuttgart, #community strong, #ASA visit. Double quotes. He even added a little waving hand emoji. He hoped Anya would see it and appreciate his initiative. Within hours, Alonzo materialized in Jesse's office. Didn't shout. Alonzo never shouted. He simply held up his phone, displaying screenshots of the Facebook post. Then, he dropped a report from the garrison's intelligence section on Jesse's desk with a thud. It wasn't a subtle thud. Accompanying Alonzo was a quiet, professional figure in civilian clothes, a representative from the Army Counterintelligence ACI team stationed in Stuttgart. The ACI agents are the silent professionals, constantly working to address threats to the Department of Defense and support the integrity of the garrison's mission. Jesse, Alonzo said, his voice dangerously calm, this post has been analyzed. It's not the event itself. It's the detailed imagery of our security posture, a known protest group with a history of anti-American demonstrations and a fondness for dramatic flair. Frequently monitors our social media. They've basically gotten a free security assessment, courtesy of your post. The ACIA agent nodded grimly, confirming the assessment and outlining the potential vulnerabilities. The problem wasn't Jesse's well-intentioned desire to promote the event. It was that he'd inadvertently handed potential adversaries a roadmap. The effect was immediate. The ASAS visit was scaled back. The planned walking tour of the community center? Canceled. The event was moved indoors, and security was ramped up so high, you could practically feel the tension in the air. Intelligence analysts working closely with the ACI team believed the group was now actively assessing vulnerabilities for a disruptive protest. "Think of our security like a patchwork quilt," Jesse, Alonzo said, leaning back in his chair, his voice low and deliberate. "Each piece of information, seemingly harmless on its own, contributes to the overall picture. Your post added a critical piece, bright, flashing neon piece, that we really didn't want anyone else to see. It revealed weaknesses they could exploit." The visit unfolded under a cloud of heightened alert. The ASA completed his mission, but the atmosphere was far from the welcoming, community-focused event Jesse had envisioned. It felt more like a fortress under siege. Jesse spent the aftermath assisting with the investigation, working alongside the ACI team to understand how the information had been exploited and what could be done to prevent similar incidents. He also volunteered, at JB's suggestion, to help revise the OPSEC training program, incorporating real-world examples and emphasizing the importance of critical thinking. Later that week, Jesse received a summons to the office of Mr. Gwinner, the Deputy Garrison Commander DGC. Jesse braced himself for a stern lecture. Instead, Gwinner, a pragmatic and surprisingly jovial manager, offered a more nuanced assessment. "Ramirez," he said, leaning back in his chair, "you made a mistake, a significant one. But I also see your enthusiasm, your dedication to community engagement. We need people like you. But enthusiasm without awareness is dangerous. Learn from this. And don't be afraid to ask questions." He paused, then added with a smile, "And maybe run your social media posts by JB or the Public Affairs Office POW first." Following the DGC's advice, Jesse sought out JB. "I feel terrible," he confessed. "I just wanted to make a good impression, especially with Anya." JB raised an eyebrow. "So there's a lady involved? That explains a lot." "Look, Jesse, wanting to impress someone is a perfectly natural instinct. But remember, security is paramount. A dazzling social media post isn't worth jeopardizing the mission." He then introduced Jesse to Mr. Frazier, the garrison's physical security PHYSEC chief, a meticulous man who could spot a security vulnerability from 50 paces. Frazier walked Jesse through a detailed assessment of the community center's physical security measures, explaining how even seemingly innocuous details could be exploited. During the debrief with Alonzo, Alonzo pulled Jesse aside. "You weren't malicious, Jesse. You were just enthusiastically unaware. But awareness is the first line of defense. In a location like Germany, where we're guests in a sovereign nation and under constant scrutiny, every detail matters. OPSEC isn't about limiting our interaction. It's about ensuring we can continue that interaction safely and effectively." Alonzo even offered a ghost of a smile. "Consider this a learning experience. Rather expensive learning experience." The experience fundamentally shifted Jesse's perspective. He realized OPSEC wasn't some abstract regulation designed to stifle fun, but a critical component of maintaining the U.S. military's ability to operate effectively. He started meticulously reviewing his social media posts, questioning every detail from a security standpoint. He became a passionate, if slightly sheepish, advocate for OPSEC within the community, explaining its importance to newcomers and emphasizing the need for constant vigilance. He even started a running joke about the quilt. During training sessions, he also started spending more time with Anya, not trying to impress her with social media stunts, but simply getting to know her. He learned about her passion for environmental conservation, her childhood growing up in Siberia, and her surprisingly competitive streak. When it came to board games, their connection deepened, built on genuine interest and mutual respect. Jesse learned that building bridges required more than just good intentions. It required a deep understanding of the risks and a commitment to protecting the operational security of the U.S. forces stationed in Germany. The patchwork quilt of security, he finally understood, was a delicate creation, and everyone, from the newest outreach coordinator to the seasoned professionals in ACI, USAG and the watchful eye of JB had a responsibility to protect its integrity. And he vowed, from that day forward, to keep the flashing neon pieces to himself. If you stuck with us this long, we wanted to give a huge shout-out for your patience as we dive into this whole extended storyboard format. It's a fresh way to educate our team and connect with the community by sharing these stories about OPSEC and how it links to other security arenas, and not just checking the boxes. We are genuinely promoting our security programs in a way that aligns with Army regulations and leadership goals. Whether you enjoy listening to these stories or prefer reading a written version in our weekly emails, we want to hear from you. Maybe you are all about that annual online training or the formal briefings. Whatever your vibe, drop us a thumbs up or a comment. Your feedback really helps us to know we're on the right path with our secure narratives. And if you have other suggestions or ideas, don't hold back. Use the ICE Interactive Customer Evaluation System to share your thoughts. We're all ears and ready to make things even better. So until next Mondays, OPSEC Mini Tech Extended. Keep those comments coming and stay engaged.